The next psalm that we'll look at this week, and we're reading these together, I trust, in our reading through the Bible and reading a psalm a day, is Psalm 24. Now, Psalm 23, I mean. Now, I know that Psalm 23 is the best known of all the psalms and perhaps the best known passage in Scripture. For many people who know very little about the Bible, they do know something about Psalm 23, especially the opening line that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So I'm not going to be able to say anything that's profound here or something you haven't heard before, but we would be remiss to simply skip over this incredible psalm that's spoken to the hearts of God's people for centuries. When we are just simply living life, whether it's hard times or good times, but as we journey through life, this psalm has led the way in so many ways in our life. So we don't want to miss out on it. Each line is profound. Each line is full of something that would touch us. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Speaking of the shepherdhood of the Lord himself. In the New Testament, Jesus is called our shepherd. He is our great shepherd. He's our chief shepherd. But here he is my shepherd, and I shall not want simply means that if I really have him, I don't need anything else. Everything else is extra. I have Christ. I have the shepherd, and he is my shepherd, it says. Not somebody else's shepherd. Of course, he is. He's the shepherd of all those that follow him, but this is a personal psalm. He is my shepherd. And secondly, we see that in verse 2 that he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters, speaking then here of the comfort and the peace that the Lord gives us in life. And these are beautiful word pictures, beautiful metaphors. Who wouldn't like to lay down in a green pasture on a beautiful sunny day when it's about 75 degrees out, or to go beside quiet waters? The sheep needed this. As a true shepherd, a physical shepherd took care of his sheep. They needed pastures and watering. We do too. And these are comforting verses. Verse 3, he restores my soul. There are times when our souls, our inward being, is in turmoil and maybe even maybe struggling deeply. And we find this beautiful promise that he restores my soul and he guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So as the Lord, our shepherd, guides us, he guides us in a particular pathway, not simply wandering around in the wilderness somewhere, but in his path, which is a path of righteousness, and all for his name's sake, all to his glory. So that if we're following the shepherd, the path that he leads us in is a path that glorifies and honors him. Then we move into the latter half of the psalm, and he gets even more personal. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. So this verse is also very well known, and it doesn't speak directly of death, but of the shadow of death. So he's not saying what happens when we die, although it leads up to that. But as we're on in that valley, going through that valley that we have to walk alone, he's with us. Nobody else can really walk that valley with us, but he will be with us in that valley. And even though there's a shadow of death there, a fearsome thing, he will not leave you. He is with you. Therefore, we will fear no evil. Important thing to note here that when we come to verse 4, and in the valley of the shadow of death, the pronouns shift from a first person and a third person in verses 1 to 3 to a second person, a personal pronoun, you, for you are with me. So it's not simply the he is with me, you are with me. This is a personal psalm in the life of David and can be in our life as well. Your rod, your staff, they comfort me. So the rod and staff, the rod was there basically to protect the sheep from different enemies. The rod could be used as a weapon, and so therefore it was used that way, and they comfort him in times when he's surrounded by trouble and adversaries. And your staff, the staff would keep them in line. As I understand it, the staff could even be used to rub up against the sheep and let them know he's there and give them comfort in that way. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. No matter who comes against me, you're there to prepare that table. Even in the midst of my troubles, you anoint my head with oil. my cup overflows. That the oil was a medicinal thing. It helped the sheep who had all these parasites and fleas and whatever else they might face. It would take care of those things, and it let the sheep know they belong to him. And then surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I'll dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And so throughout the rest of his time, throughout the rest of his life, the Lord would walk beside him and with him, and then into eternity, the Lord was with him. He will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. No wonder this is a favorite psalm of almost everybody. It comforts us, it guides us, it strengthens us, it works in our lives when we're fearful, and it gives us hope. What a beautiful psalm. I trust this psalm does give you a wonderful day in the Lord.